Good morning. So today we have our math assignment for Thursday, September 3rd, and you're going to continue practicing your multiplication by one digit. So you have four review exercises. Two of them are reviewing multiplication with one digit, which is what you did Monday and Tuesday, and you'll also have your speed drills with addition and multiplication. For numbers 3 and 4, you have a review of subtraction and addition from the very first days of school. And then you're going to start on double digit multiplication. Some of you may be familiar with this from fourth grade, or for some it may be new. So you're going to use the same method that you used to multiply by one digit, but you're going to follow these rules. Number 1, line the numbers up on the right. We've been practicing that since day 1. 2, multiply the ones first, the ones place. Multiply the tens place second. And then you will add the two products. Products means the answer to a multiplication problem. So your answers here. And then regrouping means carrying when necessary. And here you have two examples. Here you're multiplying two numbers by two numbers on the top, and here you're multiplying two numbers by 3. With both of these, you will have two groups of numbers that you will have to add together. And now we have our exercises, 2 samples, and numbers 1 through 10. So let's do the first sample together. For these long multiplication problems, I strongly suggest that you do all of them on a separate piece of paper, because even if you write fairly small, it's probably not going to fit perfectly lined up correctly under each of these problems. So I'm going to use a separate piece of paper to do sample 1. For sample 1, we have 46 times 23. Let me get it more visible. And we're going to follow the rules. Multiplying the ones place first. So we have first 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. So we will put the 8 here and carry the 1. Then we will multiply 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 1 that we carried is 13. Now here is the more important and most tricky part. Now that we're done multiplying our first digit, when it's time to multiply our second digit, 2, we're going to start putting our answers under the second digit. So I will put a 0 here first, because we are multiplying the second row. So here we have 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12, so I would put the 2 and carry the 1 again. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now we have 2 rows of numbers that we have to add together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 2 is 5. 1 plus 9 is 10. And remember to add your comma next to the thousandths place. And here's the second sample. We have 146 times 42. And this time we're still multiplying 2 digits on the bottom, but 3 on the top. So again, we are going to start with the ones place. 2 times 6 is 12, so I will place the 2, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 times 1 is 2. Now we're ready to multiply the second digit. So remember, we're going to add a 0 in the ones place. Now we can multiply our second digit. 4 times 6 is 24. We will place our 4 and carry the 2. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 that we carried is 18. We will place the 8 and carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Now we have 2 rows of digits that we need to add together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 4 is 13. We will carry the 1. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And 5 plus 1 is 6. We will place a comma next to the thousandths place. Remember that when you're doing numbers 7 through 10, your numbers are not lined up for you. So remember to keep your numbers lined up to the right. Also remember that product just means the answer to a multiplication problem. So you're going to be multiplying these digits here and here. This would be 16 times 24. This would be 52 times 134. Remember that the 134 should go on top to make it easier. Remember to turn in your written work on your separate sheet of paper along with your answers on page 11. And here we have our language arts work for Thursday, September 3rd. So for page 19, there isn't any written work required. However, you will need to use this page as a reference for irregular verbs. That means that for these words listed, the rules that apply to normal verbs don't apply. And here's an example. We have the word beat. The present form is beat. The present participle form is beating. The past is beat again. That's what makes it irregular. You would not say, I beated. You would keep it as beat. The past participle is beaten. So because the rules don't apply, it makes it irregular. And these are all the words that are irregular, meaning the rules don't apply and the past or the past participle is written differently. So it's important to remember the spelling, and you may have to refer back to page 19 as we continue working in our language book. For page 20, what you have is a long list of words, of verbs, and you're going to practice putting in the principal parts of each of these words. So, using page 19 and using our rules on page 18, you will fill in the present participle, the past, and the past participle for these words. It gives you an example. It says, today I am, yesterday and I have. So we have study. When you are studying, you say, I am studying. This is the present form. So use these words in front of the word to give you a hint. You would say, I am studying. Yesterday I studied. I have studied. Here's another example. Laugh. Laugh is the present form. The present participle is laughing. I am laughing. Past, yesterday I laughed. Past participle, I have laughed. For example, you would say, I have laughed before. So put these words in front of your present form to finish the phrase for these words. Some of these words may already have the answers for you here on page 19. But if you don't find your word here, that means it's not irregular. So you'll have to apply the rules that we learned on page 18. And it will tell you here the present form. It will tell you how to adjust it for the present participle, the past, and the past participle here. And we have our example. You're only substituting the words here on page 20. So here for spelling for page 8 for Thursday, September 3rd, you're going to read this dialogue. And all you're going to do is identify the list words and underline them. Once you find all of the list words, you're going to write them neatly below. Again, if you're having a hard time reading these small cursive words, you may flip to the words in script. However, I encourage you to read them in cursive and become familiar. So I'm not going to read this passage for you because it's your job to read and identify the words. I suggest you read all of your pattern words, content words, and vocabulary words before you begin so that as you're reading, you will notice them easier.